Hello, sir. Hello, Bob. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Long day for you, I suppose.
It has been a long day, yes.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for interview. So we're gonna talk, of course, about nobody, and then we have seen you like many times already as a certain character who's not like a precisely a good guy, but he doesn't have to get involved in physical fights, right?
Right.
So it's like you finally say, no more Mr. Nice Guy, no more Mr. Corrupted but still nice guy, or something like that in
Yeah.
this movie. You always like we try to find something different.
Yeah. This is different from what I've played, but it is similar in some ways too. I actually thought I could do maybe an action lead character because of the character I play on Better Call Saul. Jimmy McGill is like an earnest, striving guy who puts
Yeah.
his heart out in the world, and he keeps getting hurt and keeps getting knocked down, and he keeps fighting back or coming back. And that's like an action lead character, except for no
Mhm.
fighting. So I figured if you just take some of that DNA of Jimmy McGill, some of it, you couple it a little bit with some real experiences from my life. I've had 2 break-ins in my home,
Yeah.
and I was very worried for my family, and I did what I could, but I always felt like I didn't do enough. And if I couple that with this character I've played on Saul, and then we go into the realm of fantasy, of filmmaking, of genre filmmaking, and the Derek Kolstad, who wrote John Wick, and those are mythological violent films. We take all that and mix it all together, we could have something unique, and I could play that role.
So it's interesting because this is obviously like a entertain. This is a movie for entertainment. This is like a movie full of action sequences and everything, but there's still something personal in there. I don't know. It's even like a it's even like something that you use like a way to just like take revenge on the guys who broke into your house in the past. Like in a very, I mean, you're not doing it like directly, but you're doing it like through a movie. So
Yes, that's right.
it's like
Yes. The
payback. Like
word, the word, Sergio, is cathartic. Cathartic.
okay, yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
And yes, it is. And I hope it is for some of the audience as well. I hope that they also can watch and take some of their frustration and rage, most of it directed at the pandemic and at the coronavirus, and the year of living under the covers, and find a place to let it out and cheer on an expression of those feelings.
That thing about being cathartic is important too because the movie is very violent, but and you said in the production note, it's a movie. I mean, it's important to repeat it, right? Because of course, some people might complain, about these action movies and say, "Oh, they're way too violent,"
Yes.
but they're movies. So for you, I mean, can you talk about that about the use of violence in the movie and
Yes,
how
because,
you wouldn't make other people to act like in a violent way
first of
unless they're
all,
like.
if you don't want to see a violent movie, I completely understand that, and you don't have to see. There's nothing required about this movie. This is totally
It's not
optional.
mandatory.
This is an
Yeah.
optional experience, and so that's a good thing. If it wasn't optional, I wouldn't do it. But these feelings that I carried with me after the break-ins are real.
Mhm.
I couldn't dismiss them by just waving my hand or trying to forget. It wasn't good enough. So I thought, they are things to look at and to present. Art is a place to look at hard situations and hard feelings and just see them and think about them. So that's why I think it's okay to do this kind of thing in a movie that, again, is totally optional to see or not see. And it's always, everything you do on a stage is a presentation to be viewed and put into some perspective. And, you know, I said to my wife, if the violence didn't go as far as it goes, I wouldn't feel okay about it. But
Yeah.
because it goes further than reality, and really magical things happen that no one could survive, that makes it art to me.
Yeah.
That means it's a thing, a construct. It's not real. So that, you know, I just, after years of thinking about it and seeing all kinds of reactions, and this is my opinion, but my opinion is that the things we do on the screen and on stages too, they are a construct. They are a piece of work that you watch from and you put through your own perspective. You know, in this movie, the character is frustrated and angry and rageful, and he even says, I went undercover and maybe I overcorrected. And he did. He found no outlet for those feelings in his life. He doesn't have a therapist. He doesn't partake in any sports. He doesn't do anything that's kind of dangerous and exciting. He has overcorrected for who he was. And as a result, all these feelings are deeply impacted in him. And he goes to act them out. And when he does, he feels a release. But also, he brings more danger to his family.
Yeah. So it seems that you wanted to use like a, how you call that, like archetypical style of action movies. So while I was watching the movie, I saw, will this work with Liam Neeson? Will this work with like Keanu Reeves? Saying, I know, because, you know, Bob is quite different. I mean, Liam Neeson or Keanu Reeves, they look dangerous, even if they're sleeping, probably. I mean, you might think these guys are like, I mean, they can do these crazy things. But I don't know, Bob, I'm not so sure. So
and not only that, Sergio, not only
that makes it really different, right? That makes it like quite different.
That's right. That's right. And not only that, when I say on the bus, I'm going to fuck you up, my goal is to say it in a way where the character isn't sure if he isn't sure that he's going to survive this.
Yeah.
So, you know, the other action stars, the other action lead characters, not so much the actors, but the characters as written, oftentimes have just an utter certainty to their abilities, and it's cool. It's a cool thing to watch, you know. Mission Impossible or whatever, Tom Cruise, you know, he knows he's going to win the fight, and he knows how smart he is, and he knows he's amazing. And part of that is he can make wisecracks and say cute things because he has that deep inside him certainty. And that's cool to see a person with that, because that's something we don't have in the real world. We don't have that. But I wanted to go the other way and play a guy who feels that uncertainty, expresses it, and represents it. You know?
Yeah, that's cool, because even in the craziest like fighting scenes, you care about him, because you say, is he gonna make it? Is he gonna make it? I mean, so that's a different level of like that you develop with the people
it's
that are watching.
Something, honestly, Sergio, it's something I thought I could bring that would be worthwhile to the action genre. You know, I mean, we don't need another superhero. We don't need another guy who's absolutely sure of himself, who's a fighting machine, and who knows he's going to win. We need this guy who, in the middle of the fight, you cut to his face, and he is scared and hurt.
How was for you like doing that? Because of course this is art, this is like a construct or whatever. Do you have a lot of help from like stunts, or do you have to train?
Sergio, I trained for 2.5 years.
Oh, wow.
I started training in February 2017, and we shot in October 2019. So I had a long way to go, and I trained with the best stunt actor alive, Daniel Bernhardt. He trained me the whole entire time. and I wanted to do my own fighting. I love the Jackie Chan film Police Story. I love Jackie Chan's work. He's my favorite action star. And I just like that he is the character even when he's fighting. It's not like he plays a person and then he starts fighting and he's just a robot. He's the character when he's fighting. And I wanted to do that same thing.
And were you good at fighting before? Do you like
No.
used to get involved when you were like younger, or like in school, you were like fist fighting people, or
No.
not at all?
No fighting.
Like never, or you have to.
No, I fought
Probably you were like,
when I was a little kid. You know, when I was a kid, I fought, and then one time, I when I was an adult one time, but I'm not proud of it.
okay, yeah, sure. So you feel like you're like in a great shape right now after doing all of this? Than you were before doing it?
I'm in better shape than I've been in, I'm almost my whole life.
And what are you planning to do with this like new
Stay in shape. Stay in shape. Keep doing what I do. Doing Better Call Saul right now. I'm writing a lot.
Yeah.
I'm writing a comedy piece with my friend David Cross. Just do the same things I always do. Try to stay healthy, and I have no plans to do anything more, but I've enjoyed learning how to exercise, and I've enjoyed the brain body connection that you learn when you learn screen fighting.
So Better Call Saul, you're like already like shooting the 6th season, or?
Yes, sir. We're shooting the 6th season right now.
How is that? Because the pandemic is not over yet.
Yes, it's very hard to shoot, Sergio. It's very hard to shoot. We have, rings of protection, and people have to get tested a lot. And then you only interact with people in your circle. And so, filmmaking and TV making is a group effort. And it's one of the joys of making these projects is to interact with people, but we don't get to do that now. The actors are within their little group with maybe a director and a DP and 2 or 3 other people. And then there's a group of lighting guys, and then there's a set guys, and it sucks. But if we want to make the show, we got to do it until we get the vaccine.